Welcome back to another daily recap for Thursday, August 8, 2024. I'm Sam Morton. Time is currently 8:40 a.m. Eastern. The market opens in less than an hour from now. The levels on this SPY chart will be used to enter trades in the E-mini futures today. If price in the SPY hits one of these levels, a trade will be triggered in the E-mini futures following a set of rules. In the pre-market, they've been mostly flat, hanging around the official close from yesterday. You can see where the close was by this vertical line on the left of the chart. That marks the close of Wednesday. And the level at 518.62 is essentially where they closed, and that level could provide a gap that they could fill later today, depending on where they open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. They had got a little jolt about 8:30 with a data release, a job numbers, I believe. And so they're currently at 523.45 or so. We still have 40 minutes or 50 minutes or so until the market opens, but after it closes today, after the closing bell, we'll come back to this chart to examine the price action during the open session and talk about any trades that may have been triggered. I'll catch you on the other side. And just like that, it's 5:20 p.m. Today, they kind of did the opposite of yesterday in that they climbed all day, and we got decent counter trend trades while the market was on its way up. The top three levels were hit, and the top two really were respected all day. So we had three trades. So what kind of profits could you have pulled from the E-minis today if you had the levels from the morning? Well, the short answer is 12 points if you were strictly adhering to the rules. So what are the rules? Well, the gist is that you can expect to get at least 4 ES points, like a 4 ES point reaction if and when the SPY hits these levels. There are other nuances about managing the trades and even if you should even trade a level or not. As you know, these levels are calculated and identified in the morning before the opening bell. Those of you watching this recap video who received the levels via email this morning, let me know if you traded them and if you made any money. Even if you were just experimenting or keeping an eye on them or reviewing them after the closing bell, I'm curious to know if you're starting to see a trend here. I think you'll agree that the clear majority of the time, these levels and my approach to trading them tend to work. Points are pulled out of the market on most days, around 80% to be more precise. These top three levels have now been adjusted with a 5-cent buffer toward price. This is something I do after I know where price will be 15 minutes after the closing bell. Today, they were below 523.45 as soon as the 9:45 a.m. candle closed. So going short there at 9:45 or right after 9:45, that was the ticket. They fell away within about 3 minutes or so, giving you more than enough to score your first base hit. So that's 4 ES points right off the bat, and more points if you're more adventurous. Then they came up into this 528.43, and that would have been your chance to go short with more E-mini contracts. Within minutes, they handed over another base hit, 4 points easily, more points if you were willing to wait or put on a trailer to squeeze more out of the market. Once these levels are hit, they are done for the day for the type of trade that's already in the bag. In other words, if you got a short trade off one of these levels and pulled a base hit profit, you wouldn't want to try again for another short trade at the same level, like another bite at the apple, so to speak. Sometimes they will work, even for multiple bites, but you want to treat each level conservatively. I mean, if you want to treat each level conservatively, that's how you would approach this trading strategy, and it works over the long term. You just take your base hit and just be happy. However, if after giving you a base hit, price continues in its original direction, in the case here at 528.43, if they get above for a certain amount of time and distance, then it's okay to trade that level on the other side for a long trade if they come back into it. You can see farther along in the day that that's exactly what they did here, but we can talk about that later. But for now, this is your second base hit of the day, and this level is out of consideration for any more short trades of the day. And a few hours later, the spiders got up to 530.29, which is the operating level for the purposes of triggering E-mini trades. So time for another short trade up here. The best way I've found to get the best price and time is to enter an order where as soon as the SPY hits a level, then a market order in the E-minis is triggered. And then you can grab the base hit in the E-minis however you prefer to do it. I prefer to stick a limit order right on my E-mini chart and just let them come fill it. And that's your base hit. In the case of this 530.29, it took about 3 minutes for them to come down 4 points. They came down a little more, but this is kind of a good example to show you how this 4-point target works more often than not. In this case, you would have had a harder time holding out for more, like say 6 or 7 points. There are things to look for, like other tools and indicators that can give you some confidence for when you might want to go for more than just a 4-point base hit. But if you don't want to think about it too much, just grab the 4 points. The market is usually nice enough to simply hand over that much at these levels without making you second guess your trading decision. So these were your 12 ES points today. Each level has been satisfied. Short trade, short trade, short trade. We also mentioned here about this recycle trade. So they got above this level. If they come back into it, and there's plenty of time that had elapsed, then you can take this for another bounce, like a long trade on the other side. But I don't do trades after 3:30, and this was right after 3:30, so this wouldn't have counted. It worked, obviously, but that's just a rule. I don't trade before 15 minutes of the market open, and I don't trade within 30 minutes of the market close. So here are my trades. I pulled fewer points, but then again, I traded just 2 of these levels. So if you're interested, let's watch this. So the first trade happens fairly quickly. Notice the time in the lower right-hand corner, right after 9:45 a.m. I went short at the level with 2 contracts, pulled 5 points out with one of the contracts, and trailed the remaining down for a few more points. So had a pretty good start to the day. Just let this one play out. And so after this one was in the bag, they didn't go down much farther than this. They went up for the rest of the day. And on their way back up, I identified additional levels. I'll scrub ahead here and I'll show you. And I plotted those with this lighter blue levels, you can see, or lighter blue lines. This was just based on a few things that I was seeing on my charts in real time. And I was tempted to try to grab a few points along the way using these levels, but I told myself that I shouldn't confuse the issue. For the purposes of keeping this video clean and unambiguous, I only traded a couple of the original levels from the morning. But you can see that these other levels, they were respected a little. When they got up to 548.48, you can see, let's see, it was around, what time was it? They pulled down, they pulled away right there. They pulled away after a while. I had this adjusted about 3 cents or so. So they had this little attempt here around 10:40 or so. Yeah, 10:40 in the morning, and pulled away for a decent number of points. And I kind of started second guess. I made the decision to ignore this level if it got hit. I'm fine to miss a trade every now and then. Sometimes you just have a feeling that you can't ignore. In this case, I was actually wrong to discount this level. It worked as designed, as you will see soon enough. It was a very good, legitimate base hit. I just wasn't in this trade, but no harm, no foul. So I'll scrub ahead. You'll see when they finally did hit it. Well, there you go. There was your base hit if you chose to take that trade. I just wasn't in the trade. So they hung around this level for quite a while. And after a while, I thought, well, I'm kind of good for the day. I could switch gears and work on something else. So I stopped this live trade recording and canceled the order that was in the system already for the next level up. I was away from my computer for a little bit, grabbed some lunch. And then when I got back in front of my screens, they happened to be climbing right up into the next level at 5:30.29 or 5:30 or so. So let's take a look at that one more time. So it was literally just a few seconds before they got to the level. I didn't have an order in the system anymore, so I just clicked sell at the market with just one contract, just to see if I could pull a quick profit. Usually I want to be aware of what's going on my other charts and indicators, but this was just a very quick thing. So I was able to pull 3 points fairly quickly because my entry point really wasn't exactly at the level. But I'll take the extra $150 in less than a couple minutes or so, 2 or 3 minutes. So that wraps up my own trades for the day. Over on the tracking log, the first one up is playing by the rules log, the PBR log. I hope perhaps Blue Ribbon doesn't mind that I stuck their logo in here. So 12 ES points across 3 trades. You can take a look at the overall averages and other metrics. My trades netted around $850 with 2 trades. You can read the notes and explore the data here, which is the total since this log was started back at the beginning of 2022. And here is what the data looks like starting in March of 2024 through today. This is around mid-March when I started the personal trades log and to compare my own trades against trades taken per the rules. Just want to see the difference because there's a bigger difference from March to now than there is for the overall time I've been keeping track of this log. Just so you know, I do follow the rules. I just sometimes go for more than a 4-point base hit. And other times I get positions on with trailers, which sometimes helps squeeze out more points, but not always. It's fun when it happens, though. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in to today's recap. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, if you're among those on my list who had the levels from this morning before the market opened and you traded them, I'd like to know if you trusted them and pulled some money out of the market today. Feel free to leave a comment below. And if you're wondering how to get the levels, just put that in the comments as well. I'll point you in the right direction. Before the opening bell in the morning, tomorrow morning, I'll have new levels on the board. We'll do this all over again. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.